Hey guys, so title of this video is They Hate You and I Can Prove It. So, there's been a lot that's happened in the media this week if you paid attention to it, and some of it's actually been some news. Now, when I was digging through, some X and news media, etc., for this video, I come across a quote that Ian Smith put out. Now, if you don't know Ian Smith, I'd encourage you to look him up. He is one of the first small business owners that actually gave both middle fingers to the government during the lockdowns. Now, here is what he says. Everything the government is doing right now is designed to make you fat, weak, stupid, depressed, lazy, and reliant on the crumbs they wipe off their plates. Health replaced by pharmaceuticals, education replaced by programming, hard work replaced by handouts. These people hate you. And now this is not just Democrats that's leading the government right now hating the Republicans. No, this is the elite of the elite hating all of us. So it don't make a damn if you're a Democrat or Republican, liberal, whatever. They hate us all. Okay, now this is going to bring me to the second thing I want to read to you, which I actually heard on a couple of podcasts, and this sort of surprised me a little bit. Now, this was a study done by the Committee to Unleash Prosperity. It was released January 19th of this year, and this is, let me read it, that's why I got the glasses on right now. A new study released Friday by the Committee to Unleash Prosperity finds that when it comes to Americans' attitudes about the state of the country, their personal freedoms, and their financial situation, there is a huge gap between the elite top 1% and the rest of the country. The study entitled Them versus Us finds that there are two Americas today. One America is represented by the views of the most of those in the middle class, and the other is those who have a culturally elite status based on their income, education, and neighborhood. These two groups see the world through an entirely different lens. The people who think they run the country don't think the same things about issues like individual freedom, climate change, and whether the government can be trusted. To understand that is to understand the divide in contemporary American politics, says the committee's Steve Moore. The survey takes a look at 1,000 individuals meeting strict criteria for elite status, at least one postgraduate degree, 150K plus annual income, high-density urban residency, and compared their responses to those of a representative sample of 1,000 registered voters. The findings paint a stark picture of two divergent Americas. Here's what I'm talking about. They hate you. Financial well-being. Nearly 3/4 of the elites surveyed, 74%, believe they are better off now financially than they were when Joe Biden entered the White House. Only 20% of ordinary Americans feel the same way. So it just goes to prove again, the rich of the rich are getting richer. Middle class, basically, I'm guessing, has taken 2 steps down on the rung of middle class. And we're all feeling this, right? But the top percent. Individual freedom. Elites are 3 times more likely than all Americans to say there is too much individual freedom in the country. Let me read that again. Elites are 3 times more likely to say we have too much freedom in the most free country in the world. I don't even see how they can call themselves Americans if they're believing that. Nearly 60% of elite college graduates hold this view. Climate change. An astonishing 77% of elites, including nearly 90% of the elites who graduated from the top universities, favor rationing gas, energy, and meat to combat climate change. Among all Americans, 63% oppose rationing. Now, that number is pretty freaking high, actually, between all Americans, but 77% of elites favor rationing energy, gas, and meat. Okay, now, they favor rationing it for you, not for them. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio. He's not going to give up his jet, but he wants you to stop flying. He wants you to stop driving a car. He's not probably going to, well, he's probably vegan now, but he is pretty fat, so maybe not. But he ain't going to give up meat if he eats meat. He's going to expect you to give up meat. Government trust. Elites display significantly higher trust in the government than the general public, with 70% expressing confidence in its ability to do the right thing compared to only 35% of all Americans. Now on this one, 15 years ago, I probably believed 50% of what the government said, and that's the same probably for the media. Today, man, maybe 10% is what I believe. I mean, it's, the more you open your eyes, the more 95% of every fucking thing that comes out of their mouth is a lie. So, let's go to political engagements. Elites talk about politics far more frequently than the average American. Nearly 30% talk politics daily or almost daily compared to just 9% of voters. And this, folks, is one of the reasons that I'm making this video. Because if you still are going around thinking, I'm too busy to pay attention to that, I got too many things to do, then you're part of the damn problem. You need to educate yourself. Don't take me, as the gospel. Check for yourself what I'm saying here, okay? But you have to get involved or we're not going to have a freaking country left. So let's move on now, okay? We're going to go to, New York. Okay, let me stop here. Everybody heard about the supposed border bill in Senate. Well, 9% of you did. So the Senate, Republicans and Democrats came up with a border bill this past week and, put it out there for everybody to look over. This thing was not a border bill at all. I mean, it allowed 5,000 illegals to come across every day, which is 150,000 a month, almost 2 million in a year. Which is an asinine, but it also gave the president the right to basically suspend this if he didn't think anything was amiss. There's no crisis, so he could suspend it and everything would go back to the way it is now with, 200,000, 300,000 coming across in a freaking month. Anyway, it was not I guess you could call it a border bill, but it was a Ukrainian border bill, not a freaking American border bill. So it had, I don't know how many multiple times money for Ukraine versus what it was going to do for us. Anyway, it didn't go anywhere, thankfully. But here, New York City launches $53 million program to hand out prepaid credit cards to migrants and their families. New York is just so generous to everybody but its actual citizens. Unbelievable on that. Okay? New York Post. Thousands of migrants quietly put on welfare rolls. Yeah, and here's just some clips, again, about the border bill that didn't pass anyway, so I won't go too deep into all of that. And going back to now they're going to be trying just the Ukrainian bill, okay? And this is from Rand Paul. The spending bill funnels $60 billion on top of the previous $113 billion directly to the coffers of a notoriously corrupt regime. One of the many egregious allocations of your hard-earned money, $300 million to help Ukraine protect its borders and promote law. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you can't make this shit up. They hate us. Me and you. Come on, guys. Jesus Christ. Now, I did hear some positive, information in the last couple weeks. The mainstream media, especially the print, which is dying anyway, but, Los Angeles Times, New York Times, all of them are suffering layoffs. Now, I don't know if that's just because people are wising up and not believing what they're actually saying, or it's, just the print press is going dead. I mean, everything's, digital now. It's online. So we don't really need it. But this is just what's happened in the last couple weeks. And I really hope more people are waking up. And again, this is not R versus D, guys. This is the elite of the elite trying to control us all. Wake up. Have a good one, guys. See ya.